Hello there, I'm First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin here with tonight's streaming edition of Atlanta News First Plus, here to give you kind of an extended variation of the First Alert forecast and a moment to not only, get the forecast once again, but also ask questions about the weather, maybe get clarification on parts of the forecast that you may be a little bit uncertain with. So we're going to spend the next 10 to 15 minutes just really talking weather, and certainly there is quite a bit of weather to talk about tomorrow. Tuesday is a First Alert weather day. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin here with a check of the First Alert forecast, filling in for First Alert Meteorologist Patrick Pete tonight. Want to remind you, as I mentioned, this is a great place to converse and get clarification on the forecast, especially with rain and storms in the forecast tomorrow. And a reminder, best place to get that clarification, to ask away, that would be Atlanta News First YouTube account. We're streaming live right now across a variety of platforms: Atlanta News First app, First Alert Weather app, AtlantaNewsFirst.com. Also, a reminder, you can always grab the feed and ask those questions at Atlanta News First YouTube page. And I say all that to kind of just dive into the forecast, but let you know that at any moment you can ask a question, and there's a little bit of a lag, but I am watching the YouTube feed over here to my left, and I'll be answering those questions as they come in. If I do miss your question, even during this feed, reminder, you can always ask away afterward, and I'll go back to the feed once again, and you can also reach out to me on social media, email, any platform, any member, really, of the First Alert Weather team, and ask away. So tomorrow, the big story, it is a First Alert weather day. Widespread rain and a few thunderstorms are in the First Alert forecast. And it is the duration of the rain and the fact that rain will be heavy at times that has us thinking that tomorrow's weather, probably will impact some plans. Could slow the morning commute northwest side, and then rain midday for pretty much everyone, and then lingering into the evening, especially if you live on the south and southeast side of town. So that is why we have gone ahead and put on that First Alert weather day for tomorrow. And changes certainly on the way as early as this evening. We're already starting to cloud over out there. Clouds have been increasing through the day, and they will continue to increase across North Georgia and metro Atlanta. Winds remaining elevated too. At times our cameras have been a little shaky today with winds, up at that height, like a camera like this one, a few hundred feet up there, still blowing pretty good. Sustained 15 to 25 down at the surface. Winds gusting 20 to 30 at times, and forecast to gust 35 to 45 miles an hour, especially far northwest metro on up into the mountains of North Georgia. It's cool outside right now, but of course it's mid-March, mid to late March. Could be colder this time of year. 60 degrees, not too bad, but with the wind factored in, it is feeling chillier out there. Lawrenceville down to 57, Marietta 58, Alpharetta 58. With the breeze factored in, it will feel a good, 5, 6, 7 degrees cooler than that, though officially with temperatures in the mid to upper 50s near 60, not officially registering a wind chill, but having been outside, it will feel a little bit cooler than what the thermometer reads through the evening. Wind advisory, and you probably heard First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Valdez or First Alert Meteorologist Patrick Pete talk about that through the course of the evening newscasts. Still do have that wind advisory, though. So far, winds have been just below advisory levels for much of the area, though the area is shaded, still the most likely to reach that threshold, gusts 35 to 45, as we get into the overnight hours, lingering into Tuesday morning, as rain and a few thunderstorms begin to move into North Georgia and metro Atlanta. Again, this evening, we are dry. Overnight tonight, we are dry, but the wee hours of tomorrow morning, we are going to go ahead and bring in that first alert. So by 8, 9 a.m., we're going to start to increase that chance of rain. I think that it's just spotty rain initially, kind of a drizzle for some out the door, even across the immediate metro with the heavier rain, and we'll take a look at this in a forecast model sense here in just a moment. By 7, 8 a.m., the heaviest rain well north and west of Atlanta. By 9, 10 a.m., some of those downpours will pack a little bit of a punch even across the metro. With ongoing breezy winds, you can see that bottom of that forecast graphic, sustained 15 to 20, gusts 20 to 30. So a cool, breezy to windy, cloudy, drizzly start to the day, and through the duration of the morning commute, and then especially by mid-morning, we're going to see rain become a little bit heavier and a little bit more substantial and impactful across our metro Atlanta roadways. So specifically for the morning commute forecast tomorrow, we are going to give you the yellow light. Reminder, you can always stream the newscast. Atlanta News First in the morning, starting at 4:30 in the morning. And you don't even have to leave the bed, or you can go about your morning routine, getting your first cup of coffee in, getting your kiddos out of bed, and still stream the newscast and get the latest on where rain is falling and where it is forecast to go by streaming the First Alert forecast in the First Alert weather app. So yellow light, all that means is heads up. check in with the team before you leave in the morning because there will be some impactful weather moving across North Georgia and metro Atlanta. Temperature-wise, this is the plus. We don't have much in the way of cold around the area. In fact, tomorrow, I would say cool enough for a light jacket with that breeze blowing, but also keep in mind that it could be much colder this time of year. So as far as the time of year is concerned, it is not going to be all that bad out there, but heavy rain is possible tomorrow. That's the impact, and that's kind of the price we pay for having relatively mild conditions across North Georgia and metro Atlanta. Low temperatures, low to mid-50s out the door tomorrow morning. 53 Sugar Hill, 55 Douglasville, 55 McDonough, 57 in Palmetto. Up in Blairsville, 49. 54 in Carrollton, 56 Griffin, 53 in Covington. So, yes, you factor in the wind. You'll still want a jacket. But the big impact tomorrow is not the temperature. It is going to be the rain and the embedded thunderstorms that are moving through that will be of impact to your day. This is a look at a forecast model, one of many that we use here in the First Alert Weather Center. It is one of many tools that we use to put together the First Alert forecast, and a reminder that this could still change a little bit, but in general, this is a pretty locked-in scenario. You know, the exact arrival of rain in your exact neighborhood, still a little bit up for debate. We'll give you the window. But in general, I would expect by 9 a.m., First Alert Weather Day is in play then. There will be some light rain across North Georgia, metro Atlanta included, with temperatures in the low to mid, some upper 50s, and it will be breezy to windy. So kind of a damp and somewhat windy start to the day, but notice those yellows, those oranges, those reds just to the west of the city of Atlanta. That's the heavier rain moving into the metro from the west. And here we are along the state line, 11 a.m., rain starting to pick up by noon. So parts of the metro seeing heavy rain by noon, the lunch hour. Lunch plans, and it is a Tuesday. Maybe you have some work meetings around lunchtime, or you're trying to duck out of the building. Grab lunch, go right back to your office. You'll be contending with rain. 2 p.m., rain is still impacting and heavy at that parts of metro Atlanta, kind of lining up along the I-85, Georgia 400 corridors there, kind of in a southwest and northeast oriented line. Risk of severe weather with these downpours very low. I would say just above zero. We are not outlooked for any severe weather, but, you know, one or two downpours could produce frequent lightning, especially south of the city of Atlanta, and occasional lightning, I would say, in town and points further north. And with the lightning and the heavy rain, maybe some breezier to gusty winds, but organized severe weather not in the First Alert forecast. 5-6 p.m., still a light rain, so dinner plans and even the later commuters, 6-7 p.m. inside the perimeter. I don't think it's completely dry. I think rain is manageable. I think it's relatively light, in fact, by that point, but I still think that there's going to be some rain around early tomorrow evening. As we get into later tomorrow evening, around this time, rain generally pushing east of Atlanta. We may, if we're lucky, see some brief clearing late evening, maybe a mostly cloudy sky. But what happens is behind the rain, we could see some patchy, dense fog develop, and also another round of clouds moving back in as we get into Wednesday morning. And then we will see that whatever fog we do see develop, whatever clouds we do see move in, part a little bit on our Wednesday. And we'll be back into the upper 50s, lower 60s by late morning. And I think Wednesday is going to be a relatively mild day with temperatures back in the 60s and 70s, especially along and south and east of I-85. Notice where the clouds are a little thicker. City of Atlanta points north and west. Temperatures a little cooler, upper 60s, lower 70s. Meanwhile, low, mid, and maybe even some upper 70s south and east of that point as we get into our Wednesday afternoon. And then some bigger changes arrive as we get into Thursday. You can see forecast model data kind of running out there. We're kind of at the end of that point with that particular forecast model, but we'll go ahead and bring up that 7-day forecast because those clouds could be accompanied by just a spotty rain shower or two as we get into our Thursday. Just a 20% chance of rain. Not bad. Temperatures upper 60s to near 70, so a little cooler, and that cool air really begins to filter in as we get into Thursday evening, Thursday night. So we're going to wake up to upper 30s, lower 40s on our Thursday. And Friday, high temperature of 70, so not a bad day whatsoever. And the warming trend will continue, actually, as we get into our weekend. It is Easter weekend, after all, one that's important for so many outdoor plans and activities. 76 high temperature Wednesday, 79 warm, sunshine, cool morning, relatively low humidity, and a relatively light breeze. A stunner of an Easter 2024 is in the First Alert forecast, and we'll continue to warm up more clouds, I think a little more humidity Monday, 80 degrees next Monday afternoon, and we will be in the lower 80s as we get into next Tuesday, next Wednesday, as the next storm system. Sounds familiar, right? You know, we get cool, then we warm back up, and then we start to cloud up, and then we get rain, showers, and that potential for storms, much like the pattern in the series of events that we're in now. We're going to repeat that process as we get into early next week, but we're talking a several days span there, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Easter, Sunday, with relatively nice weather, in fact, very nice weather, and possibly some of the warmest temperatures we have seen in months. We've already been warmer than 80. 81 is the temperature to beat so far this spring, and we certainly could pass that as we get into early next week. I want to thank you for tuning in. Doesn't look like anyone has any YouTube comments, but I want to remind you we're never more than a few clicks away, whether that be on email, cutter.martin@wanf.com. In fact, I'll go ahead and put my name back up on the screen. Or you can just reach out to me on social media if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, Facebook, X, Instagram, so many places that you can ask your weather questions. We all do tend to put weather information on social media as well, not just myself. First Alert Meteorologist Patrick Pete, Fred Campagna, Rodney Harris, Ella Dorsey, Courtney Jacobazzi, and First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Valdez. Have yourself a wonderful evening. Hopefully you're able to get outside and enjoy it. Dry, windy, cool outside right now. That'll give way to windier weather late tonight and tomorrow, and eventually rain and a few storms in the forecast Tuesday. Again, keep an eye on the First Alert forecast, with tomorrow being a First Alert weather day. Another reason to maybe stay up late with us tonight. Catch myself on the 10 o'clock half hour, 10 p.m. half hour on Atlanta News First on Peachtree TV, Atlanta CW affiliate, and then First Alert Meteorologist Patrick Pete will have it that 10:30 to 11 on Peachtree, and then back on for the late news, Atlanta News First at 11 p.m. Full forecast then, some new data coming in. Don't anticipate too many changes. Nonetheless, we'll be showing you that new data on TV, walk you through the forecast once again, and you can wake up with the team tomorrow morning as well, getting you out the door with rain moving in starting at 4:30.